back to ReeRoles. I am your Dungeon Master, Ree, and I will be guiding these lovely people here through the wonderful world of Arethar, and hopefully they will come out with something good and positive for the people, but who knows. But we're going to start here by introducing our lovely people, and we are going to start with Ari.
I was not prepared. Hi, I'm Ari. Playing Layla tonight, who is wonderful, fantastic, and not trying to pickpocket everybody she meets. You can see me here, of course, normally Sundays and Mondays. Also over on Kira's channel, you can find me. I'm also over on the Bear Pen. Follow me at Small Shadow Snack for possums and other great marsupials.
All right, next up is the wonderful Melee.
Melee Damage. You can follow me on all the socials at whatever they are /Melee Damage. And that is the best way to keep up to date on everything I do, from music to movies to streaming, gaming. I do all the things. So yeah, check me out there and you will be as up to date as I am. And tonight I will be playing Dio, who is a half dragon, and she is quite the she's a little bit of a book nerd. She's a little nervous a lot of the times, but she really wants to be an adventurer, and she's very excited to hang out with these new friends that she's already gone on one adventure with, and it was pretty awesome. So very excited, and that's it for me.
All right, I'm glad to hear we're excited. Next up, Ursa.
Oh snap! I get to be third. What's up, y'all? I'm Ursa Ringer. Y'all already know I'm at what I be doing. You can find me on YouTube, Twitch, of course, SoundCloud. Perhaps one day might shut it down. I don't know. SoundCloud, get your act together. I'll be here playing Reagan Peril, your resident paladin, who's having a little bit of a lifetime crisis. But anyway, next caller.
All right, next up is the wonderful Classical Glyza.
Hey, I'm Glyza. I go by they, them. Today I'll be playing Dewdrop, the half of the well-known religious institution called the Nameless Gods. I'm a person of many hats. I'm a podcast host, a writer, a variety streamer, a talk show host of a show called Trial Run. It's a show where I interview different TTRPG personalities, creators, players, GMs, and everything else in between. I create a character with them and run them through a quick one-shot. Speaking of TTRPG personalities, I guess I'm one too. You can find all of the shows that I'm in being announced on the socials by just searching for @ClassicalGlyza on the internet. @ClassicalGlyza everywhere except for Instagram, because I don't have Instagram. But yeah, just check me out on Twitter most of the time because I make all of my announcements there. I'm occasionally hilarious on there, I guess, but I'm always a delight.
All right, next up is friend to the channel, Kira.
Hi, I'm Kira858. Of course, you could be able to find me on Twitter as well as Twitch. Twitch is, of course, Kira858. Twitter is the Kira858. In terms of announcements, we have our debut episode this Wednesday. The Marvel's The New Vanguard is coming out. So again, it has a fantastic cast, including a couple of individuals here. We have quite a few special guests going to be appearing on the show as well. So make sure to keep an eye out for this campaign and utilizes the new rules from the Marvel playtest book. So if you're curious about how the Marvel playtest rule book is, and like especially as it comes out next year, again, make sure to follow us. Check us out on Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on twitch.tv/Kira858. And here I'll be playing Aspen, who just recently came into a good amount of gold and has purchased a ship, which includes the crew, as they make their way over to the Isles to obtain a small keep and have a country of their own. So this is exciting. And that's me.
All right, and last but certainly not least, Sir Monolith.
Hi, you can find me mostly in these games, like this one here today, usually on Monday nights here on Ree's channel as well, same time, 6 p.m. PST, as well as now back on the Bear Pen on Bayou that started up again today, Sunday around 2 p.m. PST, I believe was our start time. And if you look around on Twitter, I sometimes am lurking at Monolith, but I'm not super active on there. Anyway, I'm looking forward to getting into it tonight with Axel and playing around on our new ship.
All right, and now that introductions are out of the way, we are going to rejoin our party as they are currently deciding what they are going to do next. You all have reconvened together in the makeshift cave that you all have been living out of. Aspen has just finished a meeting with a very interesting woman who has explained some details about the world around them, as well as some rumors that she's heard. And now that that has finished, you all have a few days remaining, really less than 2, to determine exactly how you're going to attack the Adventurers Guild exam, as well as what you will be doing after that. And as your group has kind of come together, there has been a small fire started to kind of give you the opportunity to prepare food and to have a little seeing light. I leave the story to you all. What would you like to do?
So have the rest of our party made it back from being in town? Because I know Dewdrop stayed back with Pila and Wyvern and had their little arc.
Yes, all of you would have made it back now. It is just after sundown.
Okay, so we're back in the cave. Okay, so Aspen will make their way over to Dio because they haven't got the chance to speak to him about it yet. They will say, so I didn't get to tell you, but you know those jars that we found underground?
Oh, yeah, these ones. And she'll pull it out and she'll be like, yeah.
Yes, perfect. For some reason, the mortals really appreciate these tars. Of course, they give nice benefits to those who are able to handle it. However, Layla and I were able to sell approximately 12 and obtain about 150,000 gold. So I remember that you had 4. So I wanted to give you the heads up in case you wanted to start a horde of your own, to be honest.
Oh, that's a good idea. Well, here, I'll tell you what. I'll probably sell 2 of them then. Not all of them, because one of them I want to use for magic stuff. And one of them I'll keep for you guys, since it seemed to help you out a little bit. So I'll hold on to 2 of them, and I'll go back and I'll sell 2 of them. And I feel like we should be good to go after that. But wow, they go for that much. Who'd have thought?
I had no idea, but I'm not going to knock it because, again, it allows us the opportunity to start our own horde. Also, we are planning of obtaining a keep of our own in this area called the Isles. Would you like to join us?
Yeah, of course. I have been in this cave now for quite some time, and yeah, I think I'm over it for a little bit. Maybe we come back at some point. But yeah, for right now, good to move on to newer sceneries. Where is this keep that you're thinking about getting, by the way?
So it's an island. It requires a 2-week trip via ship. I recently purchased a ship not earlier today along with the crew, so we now have transportation to head there. It's going to take about 2 weeks for the entire journey to make our way over. But nevertheless, once we have there, I have no idea what's actually there. I'm actually excited to see what takes place there, because everyone who has gone there before for some reason has not made it back. But we're different. We're built different, so I think we can handle it.
All of that sounded good until that last part. No, but I'm for it. I'm not for it. I'm for it. Okay, all right. Just let me get my head around that. But I think it could be a really big adventure. 2 weeks is a long time. A lot can happen in 2 weeks. And can Dio do any kind of history check maybe to see if she maybe had heard any rumors or any information about like something that might happen to people that go on this long journey?
You can roll me a history check. Yeah.
Oh, 24.
You have heard a few different rumors about the Mystic Isles. You know that it is supposedly a place of power, of great magical power, an area that is referred to as a ley line or a ley node, to be specific. And you know that there are strange things that are supposed to be there. Sometimes you've heard that there are like giant creatures that no one has ever seen before that are there. Other times you hear there's supposed to be an ancient city there that people have tried to find. The issue is that you've heard probably just as many rumors about it as you've heard of people who know that it exists in the first place. And you've really no idea of which ones are true and which ones aren't true.
Dio kind of like sits there for a minute thinking, so we kind of have a place like that in Florida. It's called the Bermuda Triangle, and it's really weird. And like lots of weird stuff happens. So nobody really knows what happens in that 2 weeks when people go on this journey. I've heard a little bit about it, just kind of like through the grapevine. But yeah, it could be all flowers, or it could be soul-eating monsters. So let's just we have a little time to prep before we go, right? Or do you guys plan on like leaving like right now?
Oh no, there is no plans of leaving anytime soon. I know our comrades wish to participate in this adventures test, and then I also recently discovered news of where the person who I'm looking for, Eileen, may be. So we'll be attempting to go with this party of individuals that's heading underground, and I'm presuming that may take some time. On the plus side, going on this journey may allow us to locate more gold and treasure, which we could also do our own keep when we head over to the Isles. So I'm presuming we're going to have plenty of time before we actually make our way over to that location.
Okay, good. That gives me time to go back and sell some of this and get a little funds in case I need to get anything else for magical workings, for just in case.
So just curious, are you also so our family is very large into hordes. Is hordes a big thing for you as well, or no?
Storyteller, is it to my people? Is that a thing that we are a big fan of?
For you specifically, the Sapphire Dragons, you do keep hordes overall, but it is much less of an importance to you. It is more for you, for Sapphire Dragons, it is much more about territory than what's on the territory.
It's kind of. We just kind of like to expand. It's more of our thing, expansion.
Well, we're about to have a whole island to ourselves, so that sounds like a good expansion to me.
Free range dragons. I like
Agreed. All right, just wanted to give you a heads up of what we came across today. There was also an awareness there while this market is happening. The place where they have magic items and equipment, you could purchase things for 50% off. So if you're looking for anything special like boots or magical boots or staves or anything of enchanted variety, this is for the next 2 days. This is the best time to be able to purchase something.
You realize you cannot simultaneously tell me to save money for a horde and also tell me that there is a giant sale going on at the. I very much love you, sibling, but that is the conundrum. I'm going to be broke, and she just kind of sits there and thinks about it and goes, no, I'll be good this time. I will save. We have a bigger goal.
I see. I just wanted to give you awareness, so therefore you can make the appropriate decision for yourself. Just in case, something was up your fancy that you were looking for. You'd be like, oh, maybe I could carve away 1,000 gold for this particular item. But, I just wanted you to have that information. So I can't. But saving, yes, is very important.
I do not have that filter there. It's once I start, we're there. But okay.
Good to know.
Well, I guess I should probably go head that way then and get rid of some of these. And she does with the bottle again because it's super hot. And, so yeah, are you headed that way or where you go?
Well, it's towards the night. I can definitely head with you. I'm pretty sure we could ask if the others would like to attend, but I think we all just got back together. I wasn't sure what everyone wished to do before we head back out, but I could go with you.
Let's go stop by them and see if any of them want to come with us.
All right, sounds good. All right, and we make our way over to the rest of the group. So where is everyone else at?
Reagan's probably training outside the cave.
Okay, so you're outside the cave. Everyone else, are they outside or are you all inside? Like how's this gonna work?
I would have come back to the cave because because I went with you to get the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have probably arrived back with you, and then so yeah, I would have probably arrived back with you, and just let's go. Let's get out of here. Let's ditch this hole in the wall. We're gonna go build a new home far away from this place. We can make our own rules. It's gonna be cool. No bedtimes.
Well, I don't think there was any bedtimes we have here. Did anyone tell you there was?
Sorry, I had sorry. Having old memories. Yeah.
Literal hole in the wall. That was a very good assessment as Dia's sitting there just staring at the giant opening to the cave and kind of drawing a picture of it. You have very astute observations, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Dio. I try to call him like I see him,
All right. But yes, we were going to head back into the city for a bit as Dio has some items herself that she likes to sell and such. We wanted to see if you wanted to attend or did you wanted to stay here for now? That was for Axel.
Oh, okay. No, I'm good to go. I'm ready to ditch this joint. The city's nice, but we should really only we should focus on building our own empire. We've got bigger dreams now.
Agreed. Oh, we should come up with a name. We'll come up with that in time. There's a genuine smile on their face as they look for Layla and Dewdrop. Are you two together or separate?
I was following the goddess. I don't know if we went back. Did we go back to the cave after I followed them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm in the cave now.
Okay. Layla, are you with them or you're separate just so I can have an idea?
I think she's nearby Dewdrop playing on her lute a bit. Just trying a few things out. You see her play, pause, tune something, play a little bit more, write something down on a piece of paper.
Oh, the new song for the nameless guys, I guess. But no, that's what they're thinking. So as Bill makes their way forward with Dio, and he says, well, we're going to head back into the city for a bit. Dio has some jars that she would like to sell. Did you all wanted to attend or did you want to stay here?
I'm gonna stay here. I've as much as I like the city, I think I've been there a little too much here recently.
Really? And
I'm working.
That means Layla's pockets are full.
You're I can see. Understood. What about you, Dewdrop? Did you want to return back to the city, or did you want to just stay here?
I think I'm ready to go to the city this time around. Who's staying this time with
Sounds
our
like
little
Layla.
ward here?
Sounds like Layla is staying behind.
I'm gonna roll a dice. Odds are even, Layla.
Odds.
I'm gonna stay with Layla actually. I've decided to make sure that there's more than one person watching or ward.
Did something happen before?
Oh no, of course not. Perfectly fine. Nothing happened at all, right?
Are you saying I'm not perceptive enough to keep an eye on somebody?
No. That's not what I was saying at all. I just wanted to make sure nothing would. It's more of me. I'm not super so I just want to make sure we add more.
Is this a Minnesotan thing?
Yes.
100%. Okay.
I think Aspen looks towards Dio, who's probably taking notes. Yeah. All right, very well. If something changed, well, I don't think we really have a way to communicate. But if something does change, just let us know. We should be back not too long, especially if we are able to locate some of the individuals. We're just going to go ahead and fire Reagan before we head out. All right. Yeah, I guess we head over to Reagan doing his Captain America workout routine, punching bags and stuff. Like American Boots over there on standby, so
about that, yeah. Aspen and Axel's passive perception is like stupid high.
Yeah.
And y'all have no problem seeing in light darkness, so you would actually see, how would I describe it? I would probably say that you would see Reagan kind of fighting in kind of a mix of what you're normally used to seeing him fight. Like you've seen him fight very much kind of like by the book, regimented, what you expect to see from like a soldier off of a line or a paladin like straight off of the training block. That's what you've seen him do helmet off. And then helmet off, he fights a lot more recklessly, what would be considered very unorthodox, even kind of wild. So you're kind of seeing a mixture between the two. And you're also hear him breathing strangely.
Dio seems very worried and turns to Aspen and is like, is that normal?
Perhaps. It does seem like two opposite ends of the same coin, but it should be fine. I'm pretty sure if he was in a dire strait, he probably will call out to us. So
just checking. It's okay.
Yeah, very unique training regimen. I do agree. And they kind of do turn their head to the side as they're looking at this technique, and he says, Reagan, we don't mean to disturb. We see you're in the nick of things. We're planning on heading back to the city. Did you want to join us or stay behind with Layla and Dewdrop?
You would see, as Reagan turns to you, you would see an expression very quickly flash across his face before he goes to looking as a Reagan you know, but with goggles of night on. And I would say like the expression you probably would have seen again, your perception is stupid high. So it's like, I just gotta tell you. But it would probably say he was horrified. And then he's fine. That's the best way to describe it. Like utter terror, but you can't see his eyes. And then he's fine when he looks at you to talk. I don't know if Dio would see it. I don't know what your perception is, but Aspen would definitely notice that. Axel would definitely notice that.
Wait, what is Dio's passive perception?
My passive perception is a 14. My normal perception, I think, is a 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say probably 14. Like not quite for Dio. Not quite. Okay. But yeah, you two definitely. And he's like, oh, what's this, friends? You two are heading into town? You three?
Yes.
Yeah, gonna go make some gold. Aspen told me that apparently these, and she with the thing, sell for quite a bit of gold. So yeah, we're gonna head in there. Did you want to come with us?
Sure, it wouldn't hurt to get a lay of the land. I'd be happy to accompany you all. And oh yeah, that's right. This would be everybody's kind of first time seeing the sword outside of Layla. So the sword, Aspen, that you gave Regan, definitely the great sword does not look like you you originally gave it to him. Like, you know what it looks like, but for May's sake, I got you. What would normally look like a +1, very sharp, like average looking great sword, definitely has like some chaotic, dark decals. Basically, if you took a great sword to Hot Topic, that's what it looks like right now. But you see him holding it, and then you just see it vanish.
Dio, being Dio, is now very curious about that because magical stuff. So can I do an Arcana check to know what you have done to your sword?
I welcome it.
Yeah, check that Arcana.
Nice.
I think
Nice.
it's a natural 20. Is it? It looks darker than the other. I'm not sure.
No.
I put that in.
Natural 20 would be
average.
green.
Green,
Yeah,
natural
green.
20 is green,
Yeah.
but it still is
Green,
a 20.
okay.
You rolled 2 24s. What is wow, okay.
I put the curse on roll 20 today.
So for this, you have no idea what has been done to the sword, but you are aware that whatever it is certainly not natural. The image you see fully is that the pommel and hilt of the blade has been replaced, and there is this what almost looks like a set of 3 skeletal eye sockets. They are empty, and you can see looking at them are black, and as you kind of look at it, you realize the black isn't shadow, it's just darkness. It doesn't seem to be coming from anything. And then going along the blade are what looks to be 3 on each side bony appendages or tentacles that have kind of merged up the blade before turning into a very thick black metal. And you realize that it is sort of necromantic in relation, but it is not anything you've ever seen or experienced before.
And you do see that Dio kind of looks at you, Reagan, and like looks to where your sword was. It's like, I you can do that from memory. And she starts drawing kind of like a little picture of what your sword looked like and what you did to it. And she looks at it and goes, that's so cool.
Why, thank you, Dio.
What happened to the sword? This was very different from the sword that I purchased.
Well, I added a thing or two to it, friend, so it would better suit me.
You're gonna have to show me how you did that, if that's okay. Just at some point, any point, because I've never really seen anything like that before.
Yeah, I'd rather not. It's kind of, it's something that I'm not a fan of doing, but it's kept me alive so far.
That is a valid take on that, and I'll trust you, but still, super cool.
Reegan Nights. You could tell like that's a touchy subject for him. Aspen, of course, already knows. Axel definitely sees it. But yeah, Dio, it's obvious. That's a touchy subject for Reagan.
And she goes, so let's head into town then, I guess.
Very well. And Aspen will nod and then hop on the cart as they got their nice cart with their horse. And I guess
the horse named Horse. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Horse named Horse.
Of course.
The 3 of you set off, and what I will say is through the magic of editing, you all will arrive at the entrance to the city. At this point in time, it is pretty much after dark, so you can see that the previous kind of festival atmosphere has, for the most part, died down. There are a few inns that you can hear as you pass them that are still kind of lively, and you see that there are some shops still open. The less formal kind of stands are closed, but the things that were actual shops are still. Which ones are you looking for first?
Well, the trade union, I believe it was called. Let me double check my notes. But the place where we sold our last time.
It's the Grayscale Trading Union.
Yeah, Grayscale Trading Union.
As you all make
Megan's
your way
actually going to
there-
head toward the Adventurers Guild.
Okay. As you make your way to the trading union, and you both are kind of following the same path for about another 5 or 10 minutes. That kind of awkward goodbye when you both end up going in the same direction. But you do find that the union is open. And as you enter, there is a very nicely dressed dragonborn standing there, a rapier on his left side, and he looks at you. Oh, hello. It is good to see you again.
Good to see you. We actually have a few more items to sell. Is the same individual in here by chance?
They are preparing to leave, from what I understand.
I'm pretty sure they may would like some more time. They were very interested in some of the items that we had last time, so I think if you were to retrieve them, they will be interested in our wares.
You may go and meet with them if he will have you.
Aspen nods and says, so this individual is a Minotaur, unique individual.
Minotaur.
They're unique. They're going to try to lowball you originally. They tried that with Layla. Fortunately, I was able to see through that. So we'll keep an eye out on what they tried to offer. If it sounds too low, I will tap my head on the mask. If it
that's a good trick.
If it sounds like it should be the proper thing, I'll cover my heart as if just as almost like a salute.
Oh, okay. Cool beans. That sounds good. I guess I'll follow you since you kind of know this place a little bit than I do.
No worries. Hey, you look towards Axel. Axel, you didn't have any tar, did you?
No, I didn't. No tar.
All right, just wanted to make sure in case I needed to create 2 separate offerings. And Aspen nods and makes their way over to the individual.
All right. And as you step forward into a very beautiful purple tarp that's been kind of tied closed, you see that the pool that was here before has been emptied, and there is a very large centaur who is kind of wearing this very nice purple robe with these kind of stars going down the left and right side. And as you enter, they kind of turn towards you. Oh, I wasn't expecting to find 2 wonderful people this evening.
We're back. And we were kind of curious because we know that you were interested in some of the wares that we have before. So you may have a few more to your liking. He looks towards Dio.
Yeah, very nice to meet you. Yeah, they're a little warm, and she'll set them down on the counter, the 2 that she's gonna try and sell to him.
Now, isn't this wonderful? Another miraculous find and another interesting person. You know, if you keep bringing me such amazing things, I will be forced to inquire more about you.
But yeah, let me know if that is a thing that you would want to buy, because it just so happens we have some plans coming up. and need to kind of, just make a little bit of gold to help us out along the way.
All right. Well, since you've asked so kindly, I can give you 20,000 gold pieces for both of them.
And Dio looks over at Aspen for the signal.
My apologies. 1 second. When they looks over it, they'll do just a little bit of a tap, just a little bit, just on their forehead.
You'll go, I don't know. It was a lot of work to get those. And, they were kind of toasty. And then, I almost, burned one of my horns trying to, and she kind of, dusts one of them off. She goes, I don't, maybe I'll put just a little bit more, just, for me in my heart to feel good about it.
You poor thing. And where exactly did you have to go to find these things? It must have been really hard on you.
Oh, it was crazy. It's well ways away.
It was they were trying to look towards Dio because they remember how the Centaur was trying to pull this information so they themselves could be able to pillage the content, and they would say, "Oh, it was just a few places here or there, but nothing of special descent. Again, we just want to make sure, that we were able to obtain these items, but there's no more left to begin with. That was it." So you have a rare variety here because there's no more of this where we last saw.
Of course, I thought that the last time you've come bringing me more already. Well,
I got these ones at the same time. I just didn't come with them last time. So, yeah, collectively together when we got this batch, it was kind of the end of what was there.
Mm-hmm. And more so, she doesn't have the same fire resistance as Layla and myself have. So, of course, you could be able to increase the wares due to the troubles that she did for picking up these items.
Oh, have you not used this portion?
What do you mean?
Never mind. I can give you 23,000.
She looks over at Aspen.
That's closer. They'll put it on their chest.
She'd be like, okay, I'll do it for that. If you tell me what you meant by that. And she pulls out her notebook.
Oh, information has a very interesting issue. You see, the more people that have it, the less it's worth. So what can you give me?
My notebook's just for me.
Oh, so many people promise that, and I find that keeping secrets is much easier when only one person knows it.
What if I don't write it down? And you can see she's struggling. What if I just listen with my ears?
Maybe. You all seem like very interesting people. Why don't you tell me, why do you need all this gold in such a short amount of time?
Oh, we did. We informed you a bit before. We have some endeavors that we wish to pursue.
And you are with their endeavors as well. It is very odd to come across such good fortune and very unique people.
I guess the fates worked in our favor in this ordeal.
Tell you what, I will tell you what you want to know, but I want you all to agree to bring me any such rare things you happen to come across in your random events, we'll say, and bring them to me first.
I think that's fair. What do you think, Aspen?
Aspen looks towards Dio and says, clarification. We will bring you things that we intend to sell you first. So you have first rights.
But that is just semantics. Of course. You know, everyone has the right to keep what they want for themselves.
Semantics is very important. I'm a dragon, I would know.
I agree. But
In that case,
answer your question, first of all, you do not have to be resistant to the heat to use this. It is a common misconception, but it is a misconception. But the most important aspect is, according to old stories, old legends, there is a poultice that can be created if you've gained enough of this clay and 3 other materials. Now, depending on who you ask, it can do many different things. Some people claim to be able to become truly immortal after dealing with its full creation. Others guarantee that they've broken their limits on magic or gained power to rival the gods or what have you. I have no way of validating such rumors, but there must be something, since this is the second ingredient that I have been made aware of.
If you maybe told me what the other ingredient was, and we'll share in that information, then when we go out, we can look for whatever the third one is, and maybe kind of share in what we have. And I have a potion party. What do you think? We'll all become immortal at the same time, or maybe not, because that actually now in hindsight really sounds very, very terrible to live forever. But I mean, I'm very curious about the magical properties and what it can make.
We're half dragons. He just looks towards Dio like family. Like, hey, how long do dragons normally live?
I think a long time, right?
If you don't count the fact that they tend to get killed by things, dragons are probably immortal.
Yeah, pretty much immortal themselves. So that's the whole thing. So Dio just looks towards, Aspen just looks towards Dio confusingly. Like, even us half dragons live for like 1,000 years if they don't decide to extend. So they're just like,
Yeah, no, time is very weird and it's very long. And I already understand that. But I am curious about. Dio does actually kind of look over at Aspen, and she goes, "Look, we live for a long time, but like our friends don't."
See what allowed them to.
And that's kind of the worst part about being so old for so long. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just a good thing to know. And I'm just, as is anyone surprised, I'm just very curious.
I respect that. And that is a good point. I didn't really think about the lifespans of the others. I don't even know how long they normally live or.
And she starts going through her notes and showing Aspen the lifespan of each one of the life forms that they're friends with and how long they will live. Probably on average.
On average. It was like, I could respect this. And he looks over towards the others and looks over towards the centaur and says, I can respect this. Yeah, if you would like to give us the knowledge of the other ingredients, we are well-versed travelers. We could definitely keep an eye out for these items and perhaps together as a whole maybe become a cabal that can ascend of sorts.
Well, I'm sure that you all will have plenty of opportunities to find them. Unfortunately, no one knows what the other ones are. I can confirm that a old companion of mine at least told me they obtained a unique set of or piece of ice that was immune to all forms of heat, and that when they attempted to use it, they were nearly killed, and they were very resistant to the cold. Since this seems to be heat-based, it makes sense that it'd be a cold one. There is a rhyme that we centaurs tell have told for a few generations of common tongue. It is very awkward to say.
RHYME or RIME?
RIME.
Ooh, see, I caught that. You ain't slick.
But in common tongue, it is soul purification. It is a liquid that is supposedly equal parts celestial and equal part fiendish and equal part devilish. Such a thing can exist. But supposedly, if you drink it and don't die from it, you become more than what you are. I believe it is the third of the four. As for the fourth, perhaps I can discover it with time. Perhaps I can't.
Very well.
Just sharing knowledge and resources, and yeah, I'll try and bring you a little sample of anything interesting that we pick up along the way in exchange for the knowledge.
Very well. And he does pass you a small, very nice purple burlap sack, but it's about this big. And as you place it, you can feel the weight inside. I took the liberty of transforming it into 230 platinum for you as well.
Oh, that's much easier. It is still very, very heavy. And she'll kind of like throw it over her back.
Thank you for your time. And as stated, we would definitely be back for future endeavors to give you first rights of sales. We find something special. And as stated, if you discover more information about this road to ascension of sorts, like I said, we will definitely be very interested in that.
Well, I am known to make the impossible possible.
Interesting. Well, that is good to know. And with that, I will bid you adieu, and we will see you again, hopefully in the near future.
I will be counting the days.
He smirks. And as he heads out, he looks towards Axel and says, Axel, how long do you live? Axel?
They're muted.
Sorry, they're muted? Oh, no worries. Axel, how long do you live?
Oh. That's a good question. I'll tell you when I'm dead.
Well,
I don't know. I'm still alive.
It's too late by that time frame. I mean, like...
No, the logic checks out again. That's on point.
I mean, how long was your average lifespan for your species?
I can't rightly say. I've seen some very old elves. A lot of them wind up. I don't know any elves that have ever died of old age. I guess let's just put it that way.
I see. Okay, so if we were to continue finding these items for the soul purification water, you would be one of the last people that would need it, since you seem to live longer than others, according to Dio's notes. And he goes back to the notebook that Dio had that had the average. Yeah.
We seem to, from what I've seen, we elves, while there are a large variety of different elves, all seem to share an exceedingly long lifespan, of which I don't know personally of any that have reached an expiration point due to old age. It's always somebody's getting killed for a position, or just over something. And so usually, yes, it's usually a violent end that most of us come across.
I see. Well, I'm not sure if this water can provide full immortality against wounds, but at least in terms of age complications, it should help a bit.
I mean, obviously, I'm not one to turn down a good offer. That sounds like a great deal. Perhaps it'll taste really, really good. It'll probably be the best water I've ever had. But
Oh,
yeah, I feel like we should give first dibs to some of our friends here.
I would like to point out, Aspen, the guy at the shop did say that if it didn't kill you, it would turn you immortal. So we have to just also keep that in mind too. Like, we're gonna make it, but anybody that that should do it should probably really want to do it if that's the case. Because I mean, otherwise, if it doesn't work, it's
Interesting phrasing. If it doesn't kill you,
makes you stronger.
I thought about that. I wasn't allowed to write any of it down, so I can't repeat it back verbatim, which is usually why I write stuff down, but I made a promise.
Well, at least they'll know what they're getting into, kind of.
I'm excited to present this to the others. To be honest, you all are the first mortals I've came across, so I'm not really used to dealing with individuals with lifespans that are shorter. So I didn't really think about this type of ordeal until Dio present this, and I would not like for you all to pass away so soon if you can help it.
Well, there's a first time for everything. So you don't know till you know, and now you know.
That's true. Very well. I guess we can read up once when he's finished, and then we can head back.
Yeah. What is Reagan doing again? It looked a little strange, but I'm not one to judge.
When in time, he perhaps may tell you he was heading over to the adventures.
Okay.
And with that, we are going to change our perspective. And Reagan, as you are arriving at the familiar golden doors, and as you push your way in, you find the Adventuring Guild tonight is mostly empty. You see the tiefling receptionist is there wearing a very nice kind of white gown that is very, very nicely kind of contrasting with her skin. And you see the V-shaped horns that are going towards the back of her head.
Same one?
Oh, same one.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
I am a potential adventurer, just making sure that I don't miss anything in the coming day. I want to make sure we do everything just right. I've been practicing, and I want to make sure that we all do our best to pass.
Well, I'm sure you and your friends will do very well.
Anything about the rules I should know? Have there been any updates?
Oh, no, the rules have not changed. But I suppose you would want for me to tell you more about what they are, not whether or not they have changed. Is that correct?
Anything you wish to volunteer would be of a great help. Reagan's definitely working the charmer. He's attempted to.
Oh, roll a persuasion check.
You got it. Roll 20, I swear. Not like yesterday, I swear.
Not like these. Not like these. Yep, sounds about right. That's 11 for everyone out there.
Let's see. Well, I
rolled a 4 plus 7.
I can tell you that the guild, since you all have signed up for the last one, it will be quite the spectacle. But you're free to give up at any point during the exam. There's no need to risk yourself or your injuries. And as long as you accomplish at least one of the 3 tasks given to you, you will be considered an adventurer. So make sure to temper yourself with your abilities and not to aim too high.
Well, is it too late to add another one to our group? We found another one willing to try out with us, and I was inquiring if there's still that entry date.
That is highly unorthodox. Why were they not with you in the first place?
Oh, well, my friends had some business to take care of in town. We have a lot on our plate, you see, and a lot in a very small amount of time, as a matter of fact. I was just like, anything you could do would be of the greatest assistance. Our friend very much so wants to adventure, and we figured the Adventurers Guild would be her best bet.
Oh, you all had not signed up with the maximum amount of participants to begin with, so I suppose I can allow you to bring your friend.
Internal cheers in Reagan's head. He's like, well, perhaps I'll stand outside the door to make sure they're able to see me, and I can quickly usher her if she wishes to register with us.
Very well.
So Reagan's going to walk outside and pointedly like stand in plain sight in front of the guild doors. He's got goggles of night now, so perhaps he can make someone out.
Reagan says, "My eyes are free at last."
Mm-hmm.
I would say you would see your friends after a few moments.
Well, Reagan, is there anything loose out on the street?
Loose in what way? Like just rocks?
Not
or
on
something?
his person, but small, yeah.
Yeah, you could probably find a rock.
Light cantrip to get their attention so they can clearly see him, like ushering them toward the guild hall.
All right, it looks like he wishes for us to come with him. Okay. And I guess we follow suit inside the guild hall.
Once you all are
You
close
see-
enough, Reagan's just like, Dio, I was able to work it out that we could get you to register to try out with us for the Adventurers Guild.
Really?
Yes, really. Reagan looks excited.
Okay. Does anybody know what this test entails? Do I have enough study material? What do we do? Are we going to study? Do we practice? Is that what you were doing earlier? Is that why it looks so strange to me? Because I don't know what's going on. I'll leave this sword, not that sword, but another sword. Sorry. Should we go now?
Yes. Come right to the front desk. Our friend here said she'd be happy to help.
And yeah, Dio will walk up at still like stars in her eyes at the prospect of being an actual adventurer. Very excited.
Reagan's there as well to indicate, like, yes, this is the friend which I spoke of. Her name is Dio.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Is there do I sign a thing or how does this work?
Well, you are certainly excited. I assume you do not mind joining your companion here? I have to ask, this isn't coercion in order to gain another member, is it?
No, I am very excited to be here. And she does stand a little taller at that notion.
All right, and what is your name?
I am Adriosa, but most of my friends call me Dio, and we're not friends yet, but I'll still let you call me Dio because I prefer it.
Oh, you're such a wonderful person. I will have your name added to the roll. You all are to be here 2 days from now, or I guess 1 day and some change, depending on how you view time. Don't be late, and I will wish you all the best of luck.
Is there anything we need to bring specifically at all? Number 2 pencil?
Bring your...
Number 2.
Oh, it won't be that kind of an exam.
Reagan exhales in relief.
All right. So show up with ourselves, correct?
Yes.
All right. I'm not quite sure how to not over prepare, she says as she turns back around to her friends.
It's simple. We did not over prepare. We just go in completely relaxed, calm, cool, collected. We look at this group. We have already dealt with the underworld together, dealing with creatures and beings no one has ever seen before. Just be a walk in the park.
Okay, you are right. Somewhere in the back of my head, I hear something that says inhala, exhala, and I don't know what that means. I've never heard that before, but I think it's correct. Okay.
Perhaps it is Floridian for something.
Maybe. Probably from the land of mini sodas, though, where Dewdrop is from.
So many things I have yet to learn about these places.
Yeah. But okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm ready. And to be honest, guys, I'm kind of really excited to, because kind of like, I was working for somebody else in the cave looking for stuff, and I really do want to like go on adventures all the time with you guys and see cool things. So I hope I do good, because if I don't make it, I will be very sad and then forced to try again. And which I could do. Now I'm rambling. I'm so nervous.
No, we'll make
You'll be
sure.
fine, friend.
We'll make sure you get through the first try. That's for sure. So you, Reagan, Dewdrop, those who are, of course, very curious and interested in this, I will make sure that you all make it through as adventurers.
Question, Ray.
Sure.
Reagan, being a resident of the city, would he know the bank's hours and if it is currently open?
You would know it's open at the moment. You would also know that your companions were traveling to it earlier.
Is there a concept of banknotes that can be sent to different places? Yeah, like wiring transfer? Does it have to be like the direct physical gold, platinum, what have you?
Do it. You would just be effectively agreeing that you owe someone else money and that they could take it from a different place. As long as it's not done fraudulently, it's fine.
I'll wait for the daytime. Like Reagan's good to go. I'll wait for the daytime. But thank you for the notes.
All right. Well, in that case, it seems like I think we were able to obtain all of what we were looking for. I guess we could head back to the cave.
I'm all set, friends.
Perfect. Yeah, I guess we headed on our ship now with an extra 23K in the pocket. So I'll put that in the notes. And yeah, I guess we head back to the cave.
As you head back, Reagan's gonna be like, I tried, friends. I tried to get just a little more information out of our receptionist friend there, and she just wouldn't crack. She's such a professional.
I feel like we both did. She's good.
My assumption is she's probably seen this for years on years. So it was just another day in the park for her, most likely.
True enough, friend, but I must admit I was hoping.
Understandable. I recall how many individuals were in the hall last time when the meeting took place. And this was just one test. I'm presuming they take this test, they have this test regularly. So the amount of individuals that will come by and perhaps ask her for, perhaps answers to the test, or whatever the case may be, presuming quite a bit.
So that's it from Reagan, so to speak.
All right. And with that, our focus is going to pull back before moving and shifting to what our friends Dewdrop and Layla are up to.
Want to hear the music?
Dewdrop is making like written notes about like different gods that she can come up with, different names, and giving it to Layla to like make songs about, and basically talking to Layla about what their dream is about what the institution of the nameless gods would be like in the future.
Every time Layla gets handed something, like she'll play like a little excerpt of like what she envisions like they would maybe sound like if they were music, and just like makes a note of something like on the paper, and it's just like, okay, so we have that one, we could make a hymn off that one. Words are not really my thing. I mean, I'm a bard, but like not really super my thing, but I could work on something.
It's the music that's important.
Oh, well,
soundtracks, according to my lore in Minnesota, is really what brings out the feeling. So, of any sort of fictional media that is existing in Minnesota. And I feel like if we do the same for our nameless gods, not that they're fiction, of course, but it would give that whole feeling, that whole powerful movement. So words are not super important. It's the music that will lead them to the nameless ones.
That is a very good point. I will work on the music. Is there anything else? I know I don't know if you heard about the fact that we're supposedly going on a trip at some point in time. I know Aspen said something about it, but I can't remember it for the life of me.
On the boat, I think I was listening very little to the conversation. I was very tired, you see, coming up with all kinds of things. I know I didn't really go anywhere, but there was a heat wave, I believe, at that time, so I wasn't really paying attention. Thank you for the ice cream, by the way. That really helped.
Oh, you're welcome. I remember you saying something about it was hot and that you wanted ice cream. And I tried to find this thing. So back where I'm from, we have this thing called fried ice cream. Sadly, I couldn't find it.
That's okay.
But next time, hopefully one time I will come across it.
Sounds something familiar too, but we may have called it a different name. But yeah. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, you're welcome. How was everything here during the heat wave?
Oh, it was fine. I was just meditating, and then I went for a walk. And then we came back, didn't we? Uh your highness?
Yes, we did.
See? Yeah. We went for a walk and then we came back.
It sounds very peaceful. There's not like
Very.
bears or anything in the woods, are there?
I don't think there were bears. There were some miners, weren't there?
I think so. There were people.
And there were
They
people,
had
but
many
no bears.
questions.
Yeah.
Miners like small children, or miners as in like the people who go into the caves?
Yes.
I'm not sure what a child is exactly.
They're like.
The answer is yes, Layla.
Oh, that's even more alarming. Oh God, now I'm gonna really not want to sleep that close to the door. So like children are like us, but like when we're growing up, usually we start out to be about roughly this size, and then we get a little bigger, and we stay sort of small for a little bit until we hit usually right around like 13, 14 years old, and then some of us shoot up like weeds, and then some of us don't.
Oh, that is very strange.
It is. It's very weird. So like, where were these miners?
Well, we
Outside
went
of
for
the
a
cave.
walk. Outside of the cave, but they weren't much of an issue. So we went back and we waited for you, and now, you're very much caught up in what happened.
Oh, I'm glad. Well, hopefully they don't come back. I guess I should play a little bit more. I hope they bring back dinner. I mean, we have cake, but dinner would be nice.
Dinner would be nice. I wouldn't mind getting some pizza,
We don't have pizza in Texas. Is that a Minnesota thing?
Well, I hope not. I hope it's also a nice thing, because I really like pizza, especially with pineapple on top.
I mean, I like pineapple, so maybe it'll be good together.
Yeah. personally for me, I like the explosion of salt and sweet in my mouth whenever I have a pineapple pizza. That's why it's great. Ham, white sauce, and then pineapple, cheese. It's great. Not many people are as sophisticated in their tastes and for whatever reason hate it. I don't know why. Maybe their taste buds need to grow a little bit, evolve a little bit more to understand how great Hawaiian pizza is, but in
Is
the
is
end.
is Hawaiian an area in Minnesota?
Oh,
Is it?
yes, it is. It's a small little island in Minnesota.
Oh, okay. Oh, I really have to go to Minnesota sometime.
Yeah,
This
of
place sounds
course. You're
amazing.
more than welcome to come visit my plane, whenever.
I mean, I would say we could go to my house, but you already don't like the heat, so I just feel like we avoid it entirely. I'm not too keen to go back.
I mean, as long as I pack really well, or like
It,
maybe
it's very hot. Like
very hot.
yeah, I there if you don't
Okay,
like the little heat wave. Maybe we
of
can get like
course.
some
Videos, moving
yeah,
pictures,
yes of
some
it
magical moving pictures.
if they survive the travel. But yes,
Yeah, I would.
yes we
I would love to see it, even from afar.
Um, it's easy to describe. Just picture sand
I
everywhere,
see.
and
Oh, so the sand everywhere. Did I mention that I don't like sand?
I think you did in passing. That's why I won't take
I
you there.
did. I did mention it. What did I say about it? Actually,
It gets everywhere, and it's
it get
hard to walk on.
yeah, that kind of thing, and it's just I hate sand.
Yeah, I'm not too fond of it either. It also
Mm,
burns when it gets really hot.
yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
feel like
coarse and rough.
it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Terrible.
Yeah, I much like this place. And Minnesota sounds nice. It sounds like you guys don't have sand.
Oh, we don't.
Oh,
We
good.
banned it.
You can ban
Yep.
sand.
We're like we don't like sand, so we just banned it.
Oh wow, I like Minnesota already.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we can convince the guys to bring back pizza with pineapple on it.
We're gonna have to talk to them somehow. To send a message. In Minnesota, we call that a quick text message, but I don't think we have that here.
I don't think we do either. And
I don't
I
think
can't do it
no.
like the fancy magic way.
Yeah.
Can you
Let's see.
summon an animal? I'll write a note and like tie it to its leg or something.
Yes, I think I can do that. Let me actually double check my my list of magic that I can do. I'm sure I have it. Let me just quickly open Roll20 because I've had that open a while now.
Your spell fizzles.
Let's see.
Going for that animal messenger, huh?
Let's see. I mean, I can conjure animals. Do I have to be near them?
It lasts for not as long as you may think, but of course it's always Ree's call.
You could conjure an animal, and it would exist for well. Says the duration as well.
The duration is up to an hour. But if I cast it, no, it's just up to an hour.
Trust me, I've jockeyed for that before. I wish it worked like that.
Am I able to send this? Do you think I'm able to send it out with a conjure animal and help like find them and send the message within an hour?
You're welcome to try.
Oh wow, Ree. Can I roll something to find out? Like
But you
check?
don't know where they are exactly. You do know that the city, going to the city itself from where you are, would take 2 hours. But you don't know if they are
Alright,
still
well,
in the city or if they're within an hour
I guess we
distance from here.
can't because my one's only an hour and maybe They're 2 hours away.
Yeah, the city is a very far. It's okay. Maybe they will get it in their heart suddenly.
Maybe they will listen. Honestly, I feel like of all of them, Dio would be the one that would suddenly have this feeling in their hearts to be like, "Oh, I want pizza with pineapple." So if we meditate, maybe it'll reach Dio.
We should do that. Yes.
Okay. So we sit down and we meditate and hope that it reaches Dio specifically.
Roll me an intelligence saving throw.
Why?
Both of us. Oh Lord. Okay.
You're such a hatery. Saving throw, you said? Intelligence?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that is a 23. Bitch.
I got a natural 20 because I have no modifier in intelligence.
I got a natural 20 with my 3.
You all attempt to meditate, and you feel like you're probably meditating, but you have no idea if that's doing anything. But you're very calm.
I mean, I'd say we could just. You know what? I'm just gonna hope for the best in this.
As long as we tried.
We tried.
We did try, and maybe Dio will get it.
Maybe there is a benevolent unknown god
of sending feelings. I think that could exist. Like just the feeling. Like when sometimes you sneeze because somebody you think somebody's thinking of you. Maybe there's that. The god of, hey, someone's thinking of me and that's why I sneezed multiple times. And then they'll think, oh, pizza.
You know, I think I felt that earlier. I felt like somebody was talking about me. It was a very weird sensation.
Right. I don't know. Like for me, I had this feeling too of like rocks or some sort of stuff rolling around, and there were like numbers etched on it. It was just the weirdest feeling, honestly.
Sounds a little bit like gambling.
Yeah. I mean, you must have to, gamble with those kind of things. You never know what's going to happen.
I'm also banned from most casinos, so it's fine.
That's okay.
And with that,
I don't really like to gamble.
We are going to take our break for the evening. So we will
Don't
be back
hate.
in about 15
You strong.
minutes. Thank you for watching this experience. Yeah, we'll be back in about 15 minutes. All right, everyone, welcome back as we continue our story. We will go ahead and compress time here and say that the rest of you are coming back together at this late hour. If you all do not get a rest here soon, you will be pushing that point where you will need to make a Constitution save, as you are going to be unable to take a long rest and see if that will affect you negatively. But as you arrive, you find your companions are sitting around having a conversation without you. I'll leave the story to you all.
Dio looks at Aspen just on their way back right before they get there, and she goes, I have a strange taste of pineapples in my mouth.
Pineapples? Why pineapples out of all things?
Yeah, I don't know. That's really weird. Oh well.
You have to keep that in mind for the future. I guess it's not a bad thing to have. I mean, could it be worse? And then they kind of like snort flame out of their nose to make sure there's no pineapple smell just wrapped around them. And as they make their way forward, they look towards Layla and Dewdrop and say, hi, I have a quick question. How long do you all live normally as like species, like on average?
I don't know.
I don't either. I'm not sure.
So you all are the first mortal friends I have had, and I'm used to. So our
I
kind.
mean, some of my family in Minnesota can go up to 120.
100 and oh boy. Okay.
But it's not as common. At most, like maybe 100 to 90, but some of us live 120. Yes.
Layla, what about you?
I had an uncle that made it like a little over 100 years, but yeah, but that was before he fell off the cliff. So I don't know how old he would have actually gotten.
Yeah.
So, would you all like to live forever if you could?
No.
I'm not sure about that.
I'm sure. No.
On one hand, I could write a lot of music, but I think after a certain amount of time, I'd get bored of writing music.
See my friends and loved ones die while I go on? No.
As the
good.
conversation was started, like Reagan would have literally just like walked past and just patted Dewdrop a couple times on the shoulder, letting Dewdrop know Reagan's back, and they just gonna literally go into like the corner of the cave somewhere and curl up and sleep.
Oh, baby, go ahead.
Well, you could tell. Well, yeah, you can see him. That's right. Your perception's stupid high too.
17.
Yeah, you could tell Reagan is more like focused on the day to come than like, oh, I'm super exhausted per se. Like it's more like he understands the importance of rest, so he's taking it versus, oh, I can't stand up any longer.
So in that case,
why do you ask, Aspen?
Well, us dragons, especially if we ascend, that's what we do. We live forever. I think perhaps that's the reason why we have our own country, is we're used to living forever. Half dragons, we live for about 1,000 years, so we have the ability to be able to ascend to full dragonhood as long as we perform epic deeds. Well, but you all are the first mortal friends I had, so I was.
Think about this. Think about it this way, Aspen. If you were to live that long, but everyone else would die, everyone you cared about, and you couldn't stop it, would you want to live as long as that and be alone?
Yep, that's what we're kind of hinting at. Is we live that long, but you guys don't. And well, we don't want to miss you that much. We'd like to kind of be friends like for a very long time. So I guess I'll stop beating around the bush. We may have found a thing that does a thing that might actually fix that problem and expand your life further than that of a house pet.
Theo, I love the thought that you want us to live a much longer life. I really do. And I think that would be great. And you are my friends. You all are my friends. But I also have loved ones and family that do not live as long as you. And I do not think it is natural for me to extend my life that long. I would respectfully, of course, I would spend a lot of my life with you, hanging out, going on adventures, but I would respectfully decline the offer to live a long time.
That's valid. And I understand. Because if I didn't already kind of understand that sentiment, I wouldn't be trying to, make you guys live as long. But no, I get that. And also that's probably pretty fair because as I had just previously mentioned back there to it could possibly kill you. So it's like one or the other. We were told that like you might die or you might become immortal, and it kind of seemed really honestly like a 50-50 shot, which is really it's not great odds.
No.
So you'd really
It's
have
a yes
to
or
want.
no. So I'm okay. I think a maybe for me is no, because I don't want to risk the death part, you know.
Understandable.
So I am good. Thank you though. Thank you for the offer.
I am trying to understand. It's hard, as you can imagine, living in a different lifestyle where people are older. I don't really take into account these things, so I'm trying to understand. But I definitely respect your choices. And if we have some time in case you decide to change your mind. But of course, if you decide to keep with this road, that is perfectly fine too. And you, Layla, how do you feel?
You know, I'm not too keen to live forever. Especially, you know, if it's like a spell or a potion, you know, that if I take it, it's a 50-50 chance. It seems like the odds are not really all that good.
Well, 50% is still relatively a great percentage. If it was like 75-25, but I mean, I could understand it, but I'll take a 50% odds.
You know, I was thinking more like if it was like a 90% chance, then yes, but like, I suck at gambling, so like I would probably end up in the other category. And besides, you know, it's okay, you know.
Well, to be honest, if you were to pass away, I would immediately be able to bring you back. Now that I think about it, as I think I have. Oh, see, I think I have level 3 spells as Revivify, but
like even of old age and accidental cliff death.
That I can't do. That's why. But if you were to pass away from this drink, I would be able to. But I don't think the spell allows for me to bring you back if you die of old age. Old age seems to be the one area that revival spells can't seem to address. It's why we kind of have like a time limit before. It's like, oh well, it's too late.
That's fair. It's also like the end of the journey.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess again, I don't really understand, but all right. Well, again, we just discovered about this information, so I wanted to make you two aware of this, and especially since we live from either a long time or if we reach our ascension completely immortal, we wanted to see if you all would like to take that journey as well. But of course, we respect your wishes of wanting to live out your lives normally.
It's a nice thought, though. Is Reagan just really tired, or what's up with that?
Oh, he's serious about getting enough rest. I've seen that. He's
that late already?
I think he just wants to rest so that he's ready for tomorrow.
It's actually pretty late. We actually should hit to bed pretty soon. Otherwise, things can get a bit dire. But yeah, I also know that the adventure skilled aspect was extremely important to him, so he's perhaps preparing for that.
That's tomorrow?
No, that's in 2 days. But he was training. When I went to visit him, he was pretty much training outside, practicing for it. So I think he's trying to get into the mindset of preparing for his test, which he also even asked about like what this test was about. Of course, they did not provide him because I'm pretty sure students ask that all the time, and they don't give out the information. But yeah, I think he's just taking it, seriously, very seriously. So
it's probably time for bed then. She's like gathering up all of her music to put it back in her bag along with the pen and the ink. It's taking her loot, going to go curl up and.
Good night, everyone. And I think before they go, they'll head over to Dio just one last time. It says, "Have you had mortal friends before? How old are you by chance?"
I am as old as my scales and a little bit older than my teeth.
Okay, I think I understand that a bit. Have you came across mortals that passed away by chance during your time due to old age? And if so, how did you deal with it?
I had one friend once. That is kind of why I liked the idea of it, but maybe of making our friends stick around a little longer. Um, and yeah, it's I feel like it was a nice idea, but I get what Dewdrop was saying. We don't want them to feel the same sadness that I guess we feel when they go. So, yeah, I think I'm still gonna take him up on the deal about exchanging the knowledge because if we ever get in dire straits of any kind and it looks like someone's kind of already on the way out and they don't want to be on the way out, I mean, at that point, a 50-50 chance isn't that bad if they're already on the way out anyways. So I think I'll make one just in case we ever need it. And if anybody decides the knowledge is still worth it to me, but yeah, it's definitely it's a thinker.
Agreed. I'm gonna have to think on this a bit. But at the same time frame, it seems like this drink provides other benefits besides being immortal. Like, we'll see. We'll see. I actually am very curious about this water to begin with, and I would like to do some more investigating on it just to see the full story behind it.
I think that makes sense. But I think it probably is time for us to go rest though, because it seems like we got a lot of stuff to do and a lot to think about. And I'm gonna go make sure that the tent is staked down properly so that it doesn't spit anybody out too harshly in the morning.
All right, we'll see you soon. Aspen is going to go on watch for like I guess like the first 2 hours just to make sure nobody tries to investigate.
Okay. All right. As the rest of you settle in, Aspen, give me a perception check.
All right. Okay. Oh, synthetic 20.
The first part of the evening goes by without a hitch.
All right. They're going to wake up Axel because they know Axel has great eyes and very perceptive. So they'll wake him up for the watch next. Well, your turn for watch.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hope the sleep was good.
Oh yeah, it was. It's always a good time. I don't have to sleep I don't need much sleep, but it's nice when I get it. Axel's not very perceptive. I guess I'll just be using his passive perception because he rolled an 11.
Oh no. Well,
he is more perceptive when he is not looking for something.
You do your best to keep your eyes open. You kind of doze off a little bit for a few minutes there at the beginning, but nothing seems to happen.
I'm not dead. That's the important part.
All right. The mid part of the rest has been concluded. Is anyone gonna... I will say you can have someone rest for like the third part to make sure that Axel, that you get a full long rest, or you can sleep for the last 4 hours. It's up to you.
Well, I believe with elves they do that trance thing, right? So they only have to really get a half night.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay.
So he should be okay.
All right. Then before you notice, the morning has arrived. You begin to hear the sounds of the forest around you. Wake up, the scurrying of small creatures, the flying of birds, and then before long, the rays of sunlight enter the cave that you all are in, and the rest of you gain the benefits of a long rest.
Perfect. So Aspen will wake up and check with the others to say, Was there anything we were supposed to do today before tomorrow's event, or was today pretty much just a free day?
I can't see anything on our little dossier.
Well, I would say if you all are interested, I say maybe just have a nice chill day today and then go in tomorrow for the event.
I couldn't agree more. I can't wait to get this. So, it's been such a long road getting to this test, but it'll be nice when we finally get it behind us.
All right. So yeah, I can see like we just have a nice chill day today in time for tomorrow.
All right.
Reagan immediately going to start training again.
Okay. Reagan is doing as much training as they can possibly get done. And you'll spend the rest of the day taking some time to reflect on things and to mentally relax. So far, your time here has been pretty easy. Before long, you manage to fall asleep once again. Are you all keeping watch this time as well? Sleep?
Oh yeah, probably the same. I'll go first. And then wake up Axel. I'm presuming do I have to roll for perception, or we're good?
I will let you. You can either roll or use your passive. I'll let you guys either roll or use your passives for this.
I'll use my passive. I mean, again, it's 19, I think so.
Okay. You don't see 19. Anything significant. There's a few moments where Pila and the Wyvern seem to be up and about, a little bit more active than normal, but nothing notable.
All right. So after that, yeah, they'll go ahead and head over to Axel and wake him up. Like, all right, buddy, your time for watch. That was impressive.
All right. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
He just leans back against the rock with his crossbows. 2 of them. He's just using small ones. He's like, that's right.
You wait around.
Catch that squirrel.
Nothing seems to happen throughout the night. It's pretty peaceful, actually.
Ah, good. Excellent.
All right. So I guess the next day, Aspen wake up. It's like, well, I guess today's the event. I'll lead this to you all since you all are super interested in this. I'll just follow suit. Let's see how things go.
Absolutely.
Looks like it's
Reagan,
test
would you
time.
like to lead the way?
Well, as much as I can, friend, I'll lead us way to the cart, but
yeah, I mean, Aspen would have to do the horse because that's their horse. But yeah, they'll make their way to the Adventures Guild for taking the test.
Are you all leaving Pila behind?
Oh,
gonna have to, or we can take her with us. But the Wyvern, I doubt it.
Yeah, probably have to leave her behind. I'm guessing.
Anybody want to explain it?
Oh, did anyone explain it to her?
No.
Reagan will go for it.
I am.
And Reagan, before Reagan takes off, he'll walk up to Pila. And
yes.
My lady, there's something very important that the rest of us must partake in, and I'm afraid it may be a bit troublesome if you were to accompany us at this time.
I see. Very well.
Do you have everything you need here? Is there anything that we have on our person that we can get you before we depart?
No.
And Reagan will bow, like, very well then. And then he'll get in the cart.
Okay. All right. You all are making your way back to the city proper, leaving your companion and a very large wyvern to their devices. Any conversations you all wish to have as you travel?
I know we've been a long time for this, Reagan. Are you ready?
That's right. I passed possession. You could tell Reagan's a little agitated, but he's also very excited. But he nods. He's like, as ready as I'll ever be, friend.
All right. Well, I think that we have a great chance of just going straight to the top. We are going to nail this test. And we're going to show this Adventurers Guild that we are not to be messed with.
Oh wait, didn't they ask for our group name? Did we ever come up with a group name?
Did we?
Nope.
The nameless group. The nameless ones. There we go. We good. We straight.
Oh, I like that. It sounds like the nameless gods that Dewdrop always talks about. We are the nameless group.
Can we just be the nameless gods?
No.
Okay.
That would be a very fitting group name.
No.
Mm-hmm. The nameless.
Yeah.
I'm
We are
afraid
not the
that's a bit
nameless
reserved,
gods.
friend.
I kind of like the ring of
I
being
don't
a nameless
care.
god.
No.
Just having the word god.
I said
attached to me.
no.
Ah, yes. Perhaps we can get some medallions or jackets.
I'm going to punch you.
Would you like to borrow my Bible Bibli belt and beat him with it?
Yes. If you could just lend it to me.
Oh yeah, no problem. And Dio just take a little sash off and hand it over to Dewdrop.
You see Layla just scoots away from Axel.
It appears you're about to get a whooping, friend.
Why? What's wrong? Are you okay, Dewdrop?
I am okay. But our name will not be the nameless gods because that is not the name.
Do you have a better suggestion?
The nameless troop.
Troop? What are we? I don't see any bards here.
I will kick.
Points to
Layla's a
Layla.
bard.
I mean, I apologize. Besides Layla, but none of the rest of us play any instruments.
Axel, you are threading you're on very thin ice right now.
Where? It's not. It's hot
I will
outside.
drown you
Whoa!
in your sleep.
I don't sleep though.
Terrible.
Well, we could come up with some ideas along the way.
Thank you, Aspen.
Maybe we'll workshop it.
Perhaps we shouldn't be at such odds right before a big exam that may involve teamwork.
It's good for the hype,
Here's your Bibli belt.
I don't know why Dewdrop's getting so worked up. We were just workshopping some team names.
And drop that name.
It's just an idea. How can I drop it?
The name.
It's not a physical concept.
I will kick your ass. As they
Whoa.
say it in Minnesota. There is a statement in Minnesota that I want you to remember. Are you listening?
Mm.
I came here to chew gum and kick ass, and I'm out of gum.
I believe chewing tobacco is quite rare. I suppose it is plentiful in the land of many sodas.
Yes. Plentiful. But currently here there is no gum, so I cannot chew the gum.
What is gum?
It's a magical item in Minnesota. You wouldn't get it.
You put it in your mouth?
Yes.
You chew it?
Yes.
Why?
Because.
Because why?
Because.
You Minnesotans don't make very much sense, do you?
That's that wisdom right there. Because.
Okay, Mom.
The Aspen just smirks as they continue to make their way. I think they left it as blank last time when we filled out our forms for our name. So I guess that's probably what we'll do for now, at least until we come up with one.
The nameless group. in word and in deed.
No, I'm not good with that. But if the nameless gods is out of the way, I do like the idea of putting gods there because Road to Ascension sounds pretty nice.
We'll see.
As you all
I guess-
debate what to call yourselves, as you approach the city, you all begin to hear the sounds of drums echoing around just really everywhere around you. And as you get closer, you can see in the distance there are gold and yellow streamers kind of flowing in the air. And you can see there are people standing on, for those of you who've never been to the Republic before, they look like they are standing on something strangely tall. They almost look like there's a group of giants moving through the city. For Reagan and for Dewdrop, you've seen these people before. They are dancers of a kind. They are moving on long pieces of wood. And as you enter the city, the shops have closed down, and everyone seems to just be kind of enjoying the party atmosphere. And as you see, there is a clear path down the kind of main central road. Do you all wish to go straight to the guild, or do you wish to partake in the festivities?
Nope, straight to the guild.
We getting down to business.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
All right. As you
Dewdrop
approach,
does get an apple pie on the way.
or mark off 4 gold.
You still got them cookies in that bag and all that.
I got some apple pie and a pineapple pizza. How much would
Where'd
that
you
cost?
get the pizza?
You know, there's no pizza. As you make your way through
There's
the city,
pineapple pizza.
there's nothing. As
There
you
is there.
make
It
your
does
way,
exist in this
you
world. Are you saying that a pan of bread without...
the doors to the guild
Why don't you like
open,
pineapple pizza?
and you see that there are
Ray?
people who are
Do you have a problem
coming
with pineapple
and
pizza?
going. Do you all
Well, we
head
can have
inside?
nice things.
Reagan
Do you all
heads
head
inside.
inside?
Yeah, I head inside and share my apple pie and pineapple pizza with everybody. Whoever wants any.
As you
Reagan
enter, you
will eat
see
some.
there are a number of groups who are kind of hanging out. There are about 12 different groups of people ranging between 3 and 5 members. Some of which are, you see them kind of fiddling with small pieces of metal connected to chains. Others are quietly discussing ideas, plans, next courses of action. And every once in a while you see some people stepping from behind this long beaded curtain with looks of disappointment. And as you approach, you see the tiefling from before with her V-shaped horns, except for this time she's wearing a very ornate-looking suit of leather-studded armor. And as you approach, she looks at all of you and she goes, "You all are early as well. Oh, that what warms my heart to see people so interested in being adventurous."
Aspen does the same thing because they're not super interested, but they're going to keep their mouth shut because they know others are. And just look to the others.
It would be in our best interest to be timely.
I recall there being a total of 5 of you, but I am seeing 6. If this is an attempt to expand your group size, unfortunately, that might be a problem.
We filled out the proper documentation a night ago. Hopefully everything should still be in order.
I will have it verified. But for now, feel free to speak with other people, or get food, or drink, or...
You don't
whatever
need
like.
to. When it comes to the food, and I hand out food, apple pie and pizza, pineapple pizza. This
There's
is
no
the pizza
pizza.
I was talking
There's
about,
no,
Layla.
There's no pizza.
Excited to
that
try
good?
this.
It's
Oh my
really
gosh.
good. Yeah, it's pineapple pizza and apple pie. You know, very Minnesotan things that I've found. Actually, there was no pizza, but I made my own. I borrowed somebody's kitchen and mixed it and made my own on the way.
I just love our group's imagination.
I mean, that's technically canon, Ree. That's technically canon because of the bakery lady who got a human recipe
I explained
and built off of it for the cake. So you can't say Dewdrop can't. I knew
Is there
it was
anything
stupid
you all wish
fireworks.
to do while you're waiting?
Reagan will probably talk to a few people.
Okay.
Who any people of interest you want to volunteer, Ree?
There are several groups around you. You see there's a group of mostly elves who seem to be fiddling with a small kind of silver like medallion that they've been given. You see a group of Tabaxi and Leonin are off to the side having a rather heated conversation. And then there's there's a group of half-orcs in Goliath as well that are immediately near you.
These like the same groups that we saw when we first registered.
Yes, there are those groups right here as well, and then there are additional groups that were not here before.
Reagan will speak to a group he hasn't spoken to before then. Okay. I know we talked to the elves. I know we talked to the did we talk to the half-orcs and the Goliath? I don't think so.
I don't remember. We'll say if you want to look to someone you haven't spoken to before, you make your way over to a group that look mostly humanoid, but you see that their eyes are serpentine instead of kind of normal. And as you approach, the tallest one kind of steps forward, and you see that it is a woman with a very long braid going down the back of her head. Can I help you?
Hello, I am a participant in the tournament coming up, Reagan Perro, Paladin of Ados. Pleasure to meet you. And you are?
I'm gonna type this out for you because I know it's gonna need it.
Well, dang.
Wow.
Fair is fair. Ree knows I'll probably ask anyway.
I am Sassania.
Oh, that ain't bad. Okay. That sounds like a lovely name. How about your compatriots?
This is Tassara, and this is Kina. And she went to the two that are with her, who are very similarly dressed to her, except for they have 2 and 3 braids, respectively.
Reagan sticks his hand out for a hearty handshake for each one of them. For that is Reagan.
She does take it. She does take the handshake. Is that something we can do for you?
Not particularly. I just wish to exchange some pleasantries. You know, getting to know our fellow peers. Our potential future comrades in arms. You never know these things. Do you care to tell me about yourselves? What brought you here this day?
We were looking for a challenge. And
here for challenge, okay. You all struck me as quite proficient warriors. Yes. Was there not enough challenge back at home, or were you just trying to challenge yourself abroad?
We are attempting to improve relations with other people.
For what reason, may I ask?
It is good to have relationships with one's neighbors.
Well, but where are you from? I would entirely. I get along with my neighbor myself. Her name is Dewdrop.
We are from Pantheris.
Is Reagan familiar with Pantheris?
Yes, actually all of you are aware of the Pantheris Union. It is a relatively new country, about 2,000 years old, and it is made up of the races that are considered the beast folk races. So the Minotaur, the Loxodon, the Simic, the Centaurs, the Yuan-Ti.
Tabaxi?
Those races. Yes, the Tabaxi, Leonin, yes.
Okay.
All of them.
Is there some sort of bad blood between them? For they spoke of improving relationships with their neighbors, as if that was warranted.
That would be a history check.
I knew it. All right, here we go.
Gotta work for the knowledge.
Reagan's bad subject. A 4. Thank you, Roll20. Thank you so much. Another 4.
No, I didn't.
Yep, sounds right.
You gotta work hard for that money.
I'm trying to figure it out. I'm sorry. History wasn't my best subject back in Paladin school. But I just can't seem to recall why there would be such bad blood between this Pantheria and our good old... We are in Alexandria, right?
The Republic of Eschia is the country.
Okay, the Republic of Eschia is the country. Okay. And the Republic of Eschia.
Well, we have an interesting history, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily bad.
I am intrigued.
For resources is hard on everyone, I suppose.
You all have resources on your respective country that others find enticing.
Why wouldn't we have resources?
I mean, I consider this country to be a rather plentiful land. There must be some sort of something interesting there that's more unusual, more rare, that we can't exactly find here to stoke such a war. We've had peace for so long.
I do not believe a war will come. Hopefully it won't. The world has been quite peaceful.
You ain't gonna give me nothing, huh?
No.
Oh! What do you make of our fellow competitors? Surely you have some insights to share on our competition, our rivals.
I'm curious to see the others who have recently arrived. They are unique.
Come on, Reed. Do I have to? Can I persuade them to see if I can get more?
Persuasion check.
Thank you.
Persuasion check. Persuasion check. This is conversation.
25. Oh my goodness, thank you. Okay. Reagan's on the board.
I have seen people arrive recently that are not from this plane of existence.
Really?
Yeah. So it is quite fascinating.
Are they from Minnesota or Texas or perhaps Florida by any chance?
I don't know of any of those places.
Canada.
I just found out about those places myself recently. But where do you estimate they're from? Is this a plane that you or your people are familiar with?
No. They are from the world of shadows.
Do they just stand out to you because they aren't from here? Do they seem to exhibit any sort of fighting prowess?
I think they're going to be very powerful. I have not gotten to fight with them.
Powerful in what way? Would you say magical, strong, fast?
All of the above.
Good grief, we got all rounders up in here. Okay, then. Anyone else?
No, everyone else of interest has already taken their test.
Well, dang, that's actually really good to know. Reagan Nights goes, well, I hope you find the competition that you're looking for, new friends.
Hopefully.
and Reagan will return to the group because in the back of his mind, he's thinking about like, yo, Dio's paperwork, we just filed it, but they acting like it ain't there, and it was last minute. So let me be all right and let me check.
And a few
But
moments
yeah, Reagan had to
later,
try and be social.
The tiefling does return. She goes, right. Are you all ready, or do you need more time?
Have we picked our name?
No, you all left it blank last time.
Well, now
Not
we're
a very
never
good
friends.
look, by the way.
Well, I think we still can put it in the future. Names can come by later. I'm presuming we want to get on with at least the test first, and perhaps during when the adrenaline rush comes in, perhaps maybe make up to mind.
Well, I
What was
was
that?
kicking something around, but I suppose you're right.
What were you kicking around, Regan?
Ree, you better give me a better view of this here map. I'm trying to see where that triangle was.
Sure, I can do
Help a
that.
brother out. Por favor. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
See,
The Mystic Vibrance has a ring to it. It references where we're trying to go and even a friend we met along our travels.
I agree. That does sound mystical.
Say it one more time.
The Mystic Wyverns.
We have two dragons.
For me, I think it sounds cool. Is it safe to say that Dio could have been researching some of these other teams that she sees, like through her notes, while Reagan was off talking? Because I feel like that's one of the things she would have done, so that even if they told her that she couldn't compete, she could still kind of give as much information about the opponents to the rest of the group as possible.
Sure, give me a history check to see if you can figure out.
Sweet. 27.
You've picked up a few rumors and bits of pieces of information, we'll say. You are aware that the three women that Reagan was speaking to before are three Wanti of note. They are, they are very adept at the use of poisons and other forms of, well, some would argue are less pleasant ways of combat, but they are very, very good at it. And as you look around, you do notice that there is a bit of a pattern in the people that have succeeded. People who are tend to be heavily armored are less likely to have passed the exam at a cursory look. And you see that the people that look more equipped for battle have either not passed at all or all have bronze pieces of metal in their hands. Which with 27, I will tell you that you are aware that there are 3 possible levels or ranks that you could achieve today, and those are a bronze, silver, and gold.
Dio will write all of that down on like a little separate piece of her notebook, like one of the back sheets, and she'll go rip it out and she'll hand it to the group and go, I made you a list of some things that I put together. Oh, that hurt my soul. But go ahead and look through that and see if just kind of memorize it a little bit and see if any of that like kind of helps with the strategy.
Thank you.
Would you all like some more time to review your notes before we start?
Well, I'm good to go. They kind of take out their double-sided scimitar and just swing it around in a circle. Like,
I have a
just so it's
feeling-
clear, that was a rhetorical question. You don't have a choice.
Well, dang.
I have a feeling that maybe heavily armored is not a good idea.
wait, is the rhetorical question in terms of like we have to review notes, or we have to wait, or
No, she's telling you that it's time. It's time
okay,
now.
gotcha.
You don't.
Mhm.
Well, question as far as heavy armor, are you referring to the class of heavy armor or just those wearing armor in general?
It is the people who look to be the people who look like they are prepared for outright combat. So people wearing very bulkier suits of armor with very kind of larger and more prepared weaponry seem to have failed, whereas the people who are less armed seem to be doing better as a general rule.
Gotcha. Okay. Now I'm with you. But yeah, Reagan's all set, man.
Come with me. Well,
All right,
she
cool.
does lead
As
you.
it follows.
She leads you back through this kind of beaded curtain, and as you step behind it, you immediately stop hearing the sound of the guild proper. And the hallway you're led to is quiet and a bit, not quite ominous, but there is that kind of, it is suddenly far quieter than it should be, that uncomfortable settles over you, and she leads you to a doorway that seems to be kind of rimmed with a golden light, and she stops. All right, now I am supposed to let you know that you are free to back out of your exam here and now if you like.
I wouldn't dream of it.
Wonderful.
No
In
need.
that case, then
Do a lot of people take you up on this offer?
No, not really. Some do, though. But most people don't.
Would seem strange if they did.
Some people get very nervous at this point. I'm told this room can be a bit unsettling for some people. Well, you may enter.
All right.
Reagan's definitely stepping through. For sure.
As it follows, suits.
Yeah, sure.
Theo also heads in.
In we go.
All right. As you all enter, the first thing you notice is the environment you step into is hot. For those of you with heat resistance or fire resistance, it's still comfortable for you. But for everyone else, the heat, it is very uncomfortable. It's that kind of muggy, humid heat. And as you look around, you find yourself standing in a large forest. Tall stalks of bamboo are kind of spread out around you. And as you look around, you hear one of the stalks snap. And a moment later, a figure drops down in front of you. And you see a kind of a golden black tabaxi who is kind of licking the backs of her paws. And she looks at each of you. Welcome to my test.
It's a pleasure. What
I will
is your
keep
name?
things very short. You may, in your tongue, you may call me Selena. Very much more cute. But for this exam, your task is very simple. And you see her, she removes a red flag from her waistband. All you have to do is obtain the flag from me before time runs out, and without falling from the bamboo behind me. I will let you know it will definitely hurt if you fall, but it will not kill you.
I had a chance to do something and I didn't, and I regret it.
I'm also required to let you know you only have to complete one of the 3 exams this evening for you to gain the rank of bronze. If you complete 2, you will obtain a silver. And should you manage to complete all 3, then you will be given the gold rank. That is not to encourage you to attempt to do all 3. It is to remind you of temperance and patience. Do not aim too high, or you may find yourself grasping at air. Any questions?
So you're saying the goal is we just need to obtain this red flag from you? Is that correct?
No. All of you have to obtain the flag from me.
How big is the flag?
It seems just to be like about hand-sized.
So she has like 6 of them that we have to grab.
No, just one.
You said all. Okay,
how
you
does
one
that
said
at a
all
work?
of
Have to
them.
time.
put our hand on that flag at the same time.
Yeah, like how does that work? You said all of us has to do it. Like,
Ask Selena the questions.
okay.
In world, people. This is in world.
So could
I think it's
you
one at a
elaborate?
time.
Could you elaborate what do you mean by all of us grabbing it? You only
Each
have
of
one
you
flag.
will complete the task one by one, and as long as a majority of your team succeeds, you all will succeed. If a majority
I
of you
see.
fail, you will all fail.
So this is a one-on-one event against you.
Yes. But it is always good to cheer each other on. It can be a very good motivator. Sometimes.
Good to know. Who would like to go first?
I don't know. Reagan's pretty hype.
Go
Character
ahead.
wise, Reagan is pretty hype. Reagan will step up.
As Reagan pushes everybody else out of the way.
Well, that's not in his character, but
I know.
he'll walk up. I suppose I'm first.
All right, well, feel free to come and join me. And then she says that you see her just for a moment. She backflips, and as she does, she lands hands first onto one of the bamboo stalks before tossing herself further up and begins to almost run up the stalk of bamboo, and she disappears above you. Reagan, how
Eldritch
would you like
sight.
to proceed?
Reagan, I am sorry. Before Reagan goes, I'm going to cast Enhance Ability
I appreciate that.
on him. Yes.
You know I'm gonna need it.
I am going to give you Cat's Grace.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have advantage on all dexterity stuff checks.
Thank you. All right. Do I get anything with Eldritch sight?
Look around. Everything seems to be pretty straightforward to you. You don't see any traces of magic. You do see that the flag itself is probably a little magical. As she disappears, there's a little faint glow, and you realize it is abjuration magic.
All right. Tracking that. Reagan's gonna fly like an eagle. Radiant soul taking off.
All right, and as you fly up, you find yourself quickly kind of navigating through the bamboo stalks, and as you reach the very top, you see that she is standing about 15 feet away from you, and she looks at you. Very resourceful.
Would you mind handing that to me, please? That is
Clever,
hard
but-
persuasion.
Clever, but no.
Well, it was worth a shot. Reagan's gonna fly in and attempt to snatch it.
All right, give me your choice of either a straight strength-based attack roll, or you can do athletics or acrobatics.
Athletics. And I get advantage, right? Does that count? Yeah, with the dance ability?
Yeah. If you'd
Alright.
use acrobatics.
Acrobatics.
Dex one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you use that one, yeah, you get advantage.
All right. Oh,
Roll 20. Roll 20.
You move forward, and as you go to swipe where the flag is, she kind of pushes off on bamboo in front of her to kind of give her the momentum to flip back. And as she does, you see her pull the bamboo that she lands on, and as she begins to kind of go towards the ground, she releases the one that she's holding on to and grabs the one behind her. And I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw, Reagan.
okay. I don't think that enhanced ability applies to saving throws, right? It's just skill checks.
I think it does.
Yeah, it's I don't know, maybe.
Let me check.
Yeah, you can. Oh.
Oh no, it's just
Yeah.
checks, not saves.
Yeah, all right.
It's checks.
Rolling straight then. 16.
But you see very quickly, you realize that the bamboo is going to snap forward. And as it does, you manage to use your wings to push you just out of the way. And a moment later, you are able to kind of gain control of yourself, and you look around, and she's standing now. She's about 10 feet away from you. Fast reflexes.
Thank you. And he'll try. This would be cold-blooded. This would be so cold-blooded. Let me see. Reagan is going to bonus action hex her. Excellent.
Okay.
And then action attempt to take the scarf again.
Okay. Let me double check.
Do you have to make a saving throw?
No, it's hex just saves it.
Curse. Yeah.
All right, make me a dexterity check.
Yeah, you have disadvantage on ability checks, and I choose dexterity for that ability check. All right. I still got enhanced ability on dex.
Mm-hmm. Still works.
Rolling. Roll 20. I want to choke you out.
Now you're probably good.
So with advantage, as you go forward, you see her begin to move, but you notice that the kind of dark essence of the hex you've placed on her makes her movement just about a step slower than they should be. And as she goes to flip backwards, you manage to just get kind of the tips of 2 fingers onto the flag, and it comes loose, and both of you are going to die for it. So I want you to either choose acrobatics or athletics, as the pair of you are going to make an attempt to grab the flag as it is falling down.
Acrobatics with advantage. Oh wait, no, I'll do athletics. No, acrobatics. I'll call it. I need the advantage. The way these dice are.
Okay.
21. I'm so glad I made that decision.
I want you to know that without the disadvantage from Hex, she rolled a 24. But with disadvantage, it's only an 18.
Yes.
So as you are both falling forward, you are just able, as you commit to this, to going for the flag, you see her out of the corner of your eye dig her claws into the bamboo to slow her fall. And as she basically decides to not risk hitting the ground, you are able to push through it and grab hold of the flag. And just as you do, just as you see the hard ground coming up at you, you disappear.
Alrighty.
Dewdrop, you feel your spell end. And a moment later, Zaya is standing in front of the rest of you. Well, that was exciting. Who's next?
Oh, that looks fun. Let's have a crack at it.
It's gonna be a breeze for y'all.
Watch 1 1 1 1 1.
Yeah, you have to remember, Michael also used Roll20. Ain't no breeze going on over here.
A moment later, she disappears into the forest of bamboo. Do you wish to follow her up the stalks, Axel?
So is this just like a room that's just filled with bamboo?
It is a forest.
Oh, so we're actually like legit in a forest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure that the size and the scope were big enough that doing anything silly like chopping down the bamboo wouldn't.
You'd be doing it for a very long time if you tried it.
Very long time. sometimes brute force wins the day. You just see him running through like a whirlwind. Need a bigger sword for that though. Axel's not a big sword guy. But yeah, no, I mean, Axel doesn't have a whole lot else to do other than to, you know, join in the in the bamboo acrobatics.
All right. And it takes you a moment, but you are able to climb into the top, and you are standing on, what is your dexterity score? The actual plus
18.
Number?
Oh, plus 4.
Okay. Then you're able to get your balance pretty quickly. And it's definitely not something that you're used to doing, but you're able to figure it out. And she's about 15 feet away from you. Shall we begin?
About 15. I suppose we shall. I don't know what her movement speed is, but mine's 35. Although I know that doesn't matter as much when we're jumping around up here. But I figure it counts for something. So yeah, and I can see her just, you know, I see the little flag hanging off of her thing. Now I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's there.
All right. Well, you know, because he doesn't want to be a horse sport. I forgot exactly. Hunter's Mark only benefits attacks, right? Oh, that's not.
No, Hunter's Mark also gives you advantage or perception checks to find them, but
Yep, it is. It'll help you find them, sure, but it won't help you hit them.
They go stealthy. Yeah, but she's not going to hide. She's not hiding. We're all standing here in plain sight. All right. Then I guess we're just going to go for it. We're playing a little game of flag football here. Give me the flag. And he just dives for it. Well, doesn't dive for it, but like goes after it.
All right, roll. You can make an athletics check, an acrobatics check, or like just a hand-to-hand combat check.
I feel like hand-to-hand combat would probably be the worst one. Because wouldn't it? Because it would. Because it's your. Well, I get it. Actually, they're all really. If you're just doing proficiency plus dex, then they're all really the same. Except for athletics. I don't have athletics, so that would be bad. So we'll just do acrobatics. 23.
This time you move forward, and you see her go to push off of one of the bamboo, but you are just a bit faster than her. And as you go for it, she moves to block you. And there's a moment where you both kind of check into each other. Roll me a second one. As you kind of cross.
26.
Roll me another check.
Oh, that was a natural 19. Roll, yeah, so it's true. Roll 20 just hates Ursa. Okay, good to know.
Just Ursa. But watch, I'm going to have another check to make, and the last one's going to be a bomb.
Don't say such things.
As she goes to adjust, she takes one hand and presses it down onto the bamboo and begins to bring her right leg up and down on top of you. As you see that, you release her other arm, and just as you go to move out of the way, there is a moment where the flag is unprotected, and instead of following up with an actual attack, you're able to reach forward, grabbing hold of the flag, just as her kick would have kind of crushed the bamboo that you were standing on. And you disappear from view.
And I disappear from view? Sorry, guys, there's no screams. I'm gone.
And a moment later, the rest of you see here. This is getting a bit more exciting.
I'm gonna start making my new character.
I'll go ahead and I'll try.
You got this.
Ooh, okay, yeah. Those are really tall stalks of bamboo. Okay, and she will like step up, looking very nervous.
And what is your dexterity score, Dio?
It's not. It is
Dexterity.
Not.
3.
AKA no.
3.
It's a bit shaky, but you are able to stand on the stalks. You have to kind of rebalance constantly, but you're up there, and she's about 15 feet away. We can begin whenever you are.
Okay, and as Dia's wobbling, she's gonna hit her with the concentration of slow.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Slow is a wisdom save, I think. Let me double check.
Oh, she's probably wisdom. She seems like a monk.
That's actually one of the things I dislike in 5th edition is that instead of
I have a
3
lot of
saving
things that
throws, you
you
have
dislike
6 new
with
saving
5th
throws.
edition.
What
I do have a lot of things that.
What is your spell save DC?
Where would I see that on the sheet?
Your part of your sheet talking about your spells, it would be in the upper middle,
Right hand corner.
center,
16.
corner. You see, for just a moment, the spell kind of settles over her, and you see the bamboo stalks around her begin to move out of pattern with the other ones. They begin to slow in time. Would you like to attempt to take the flag?
Yes, I will misty step towards her.
Okay. As you appear next to her, it takes you a second to kind of balance on the bamboo, and you attempt to kind of just go straight for the flag, and you see immediately that her movement and reaction times are slower than normal, but she is still able to react to your appearance. So roll me an acrobatics or athletics check with advantage.
Acrobatics, or what was my other option?
Athletics.
Which one is better for me? Well, where do I not see athletics? What is going on? Oh, there it is. Oh, none of this is good.
You are a wizard, so.
Ooh, 17.
Oh, 2 17s. Okay.
As you see her preparing to kind of almost scratch or gore you with the sharp claws that have extended from her hands, she begins to bring them down, and for a moment you want to hesitate, to pull back, but as you kind of concentrate on wanting to succeed and to be an adventurer, instead of pulling back, you've pushed forward almost enough to knock yourself off of the bamboo, and you see these claws coming down upon you out of the corner of your eyes just as your fingers grab hold of the flag, and you disappear.
Wow.
And with that, 3 of you has succeeded. Only one more person has to succeed.
No pressure.
And a moment later, she appears in front of the 3 of you. All right, who's next?
Aspen smirked. He's like, well, what are you too late to go?
Like to wait.
I think I could go. I'll give it a shot. If I fall out of a tree, it's just like falling out of a cliff. And she just like, you see her just reach up and tighten her hair.
What?
Not really the same, but you got this.
I mean, it was probably going to hurt the same, but it's fine. I got this.
Oh, yeah, yes, I would agree with that.
It is you make your way up. What is your dexterity score?
It's a 16, so she has a +3.
Okay. It takes you some time, and you're kind of, balancing yourself pretty much as long as the wind is kind of moving. But you see about 15 feet away, she is standing and looking at you. She rushes forward toward you.
Oh.
I need her to make me a wisdom saving throw.
All right.
Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear.
See, it's just because you all are playing games that this happened. She rolled a 23.
Damn it.
Oh.
I need for Layla to roll a dexterity saving throw as you attempt to affect her, and you notice immediately it doesn't work, and she begins to bring her claws almost as if to claw an X across the center of your chest.
It was an 8.
You attempt to react, you attempt to kind of move, but you find your balance bad, for lack of a better word, and instead of moving your weight properly to the next bamboo stalk, you jump toward it, and as you do, you begin to kind of fall back, and the bamboo begins to sway underneath you, and she turns and begins to continue the attack. This time,
How far away is she from me?
about within 5 feet. You are still within combat.
I am going to mage hand sleight of check, steal the flag off her.
Nice.
Oh.
So
While falling?
she's bringing a leg down on you. Roll me an not an arcana check for you.
Sleight of hand.
Sure,
Isn't it sleight of hand?
I was either you can do sleight of hand or you can do whatever your spellcasting modifier is. So I think you're bard, so that one.
Is 15.
Okay, well let's see how she does.
I mean, she is attacking me, so she's a little distracted.
You see this leg coming down, and you can see there's definitely much more of an intent to hit you than there is to continue preventing you getting the flag. And you hesitate for just a moment before you finish your spell, and having no idea if you have to touch the flag or if magically touching it will work, you gamble a very painful fall on the mage hand, and you feel your magic connect with something just as her foot is about to crash into the center of your forehead, and in that moment you disappear.
Yo, bootleg Chitara is mad.
The rest of you find yourselves quickly poofing away in a cloud of smoke, and you find yourselves standing at the foot of a very long wooden bridge. And as you kind of look around you, you see all of your companions are together. And a very large, about 8 foot tall bear folk with gray fur and this kind of large scar going from about the left shoulder down begins to approach you. In his hand, you see him holding what looks to be like a war hammer. And as he gets closer to you all, I am required to ask you if you wish to retire your challenge. No.
I do not wish to yield. What say you, friends?
I didn't do anything, of course not.
Well, I mean, I'm far too young to retire. Our career is just getting started.
Well, your next trial is simple. In the temple behind me, and he points with this large warhammer to this very ornate-looking kind of East Asian-inspired temple. It's about 3 stories high. There's a jade doll in there. You want to bring it to me?
There has to be a catch.
No. Your task is to go in there and bring me the jade doll. It is very straightforward.
You won't be stopping us, will you?
No.
Do we have to do it one at a time again?
No.
So we work together on this.
Yes.
Does the jade doll have to be in one piece?
Yes.
Do you wish to help us?
No.
Are you required to help us?
Is there a...
Besides answering these questions, no.
Is there any enemies we are to expect along the way?
Possibly.
That is the kicker. Thank you for that awareness. And as it starts to make their way forward. with their double-sided scimitars sticking up.
All right, as you all make your way
Oh,
forward.
and Umbra, of course, will be with them as well. I haven't really spoken about it, but we all know Drake.
Send Drake to the hoods, round Drake around Drakes.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take the rear.
Yep.
All right.
Unless anybody else wants it.
As you enter the tower, it is pretty straightforward, actually. It is very nice. Those of you with proficiency in history recognize there is a lot of Yuan-Ti-inspired regalia around you. Lots of kind of serpentine images. And as you make your way up the stairs, you find sitting on a pedestal with a plaque kind of above it is this very ornate-looking jade serpent. It's about big enough to fit in like the palm of your hand.
Eldritch Sight.
It is very magical.
What kind of magic?
You see all of them. Except illusion. There's no illusion.
Hold fast, friends. This statue seems to have all sorts of magic emanating from it, except illusion.
Checks out. There's probably like some kind of trap or something attached to it that like the second we pick it up, we're going to be attacked by something. So I get who wants to grab it, I guess is the first question. And how do you want to do it?
Hold on, Dio. Are you saying that it's a trap?
Maybe.
He looks towards Dio or Layla. He says, Layla, I think I saw you do this one. Don't you have that one hand that could grab things? Would you try that?
Maybe I have it. Yes, sure. Well, I'll use it. How far away is it? And if anything attacks me, please.
Standing about 15 feet.
If anything jumps me first, please. I do not want to get smacked in the face. She'll use Mage Hand to just kind of try and reach over and grab it.
No summon his blade.
As your Mage Hand moves forward, as it gets within 5 feet of this jade serpent, the spell fades away.
Cruelty.
So it can't be anything magic associated with it. Well, he looks towards Umbra. Umbra, it's your turn. Can you go ahead and grab the jade doll for us? And we'll have their Drake go out and choke. Pull it back.
As Umbra moves to grab hold of this statue, you see Umbra kind of freeze for a moment. And can I have you make me a Constitution saving throw?
Oh, okay.
With Umbra stats, not your stats.
Oh, Umbra stats.
Yes, Umbra is the one.
Okay, sorry, I did not have that up. Let me get a second. Okay, there you are. Woohoo! Okay, that's 21.
You see Umbra immediately release the statue and begin to kind of move back. And you kind of see their form shimmer for a moment before focusing again. The rest of you see it just for a moment, and you're kind of not completely sure if it's accurate, but the statue seems slightly bigger than it was before.
Is Umbra composed of magic? Because Reagan still has Eldritch Sight active.
It is not made of magic, but it is definitely an entity that is summoned. So you would recognize it as a form of summoning. But it is also an existing thing. It's not a magical construct or anything like that.
Is the pedestal stone? Or is it like wood, or what's it? Stone?
Stone.
Is the floor all stone? Is it all just stone surrounding it in the temple?
The floor is wood.
Floor is wood?
Did Reagan notice a fluctuation in Umbra's magic as Umbra touched the statue?
No.
Okay. Whatever's on it.
So the statue stayed put. Umbra tried to grab it, but wasn't able to. It seemed like they kind of fizzled a bit. So the statue's still at the same
saw
spot,
Umbra
right?
grab it, and then something happened, and then Umbra released it.
Oh, okay. And then they grew a bit bigger. Okay.
Why don't you ask Umbra?
Oh yeah, Umbra will look over to Asp will look over to Umbra because we can speak in Draconic. What happened?
It bit me.
It bit you. I didn't know it could do such things. And you'll let the rest of the group know. It says Umbra said it bit them. So I guess we have to keep an eye out on it performing attacks of sorts.
What does the statue depict?
It is a
It's a snake,
serpent coiled around itself, kind of like a pyramid of a snake, kind of. If you've ever seen like a serpent wrapped around something, it kind of looks like that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's enough of this. Axel takes off his hood or like a scarf around his face and gets it up around his hands, and he's just like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna get it." And he walks over and to try and like grab it by wrapping it up in his hood and trying to pull it off the thing.
Okay. Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Couldn't be that easy.
Like, oh, don't worry, I got it.
Don't worry, guys, I got this. 11.
Well, you only got +1, so then it was
It's true. Roll a 10.
As you attempt to grab it, all of you at this point sees the serpent uncoil and almost instantly darts forward and digs its fangs into Axel's hand. And as that happens, you will see the serpent begins to grow in size. Now it's about twice as large as it was before, and probably long enough to wrap fully around an arm. Axel, as you look down, you realize the bite doesn't hurt, but you begin to see the skin around where the fangs entered you begins to turn into jade.
Uh-oh. I think
imminent.
All right. Axel holds his arm out. This is
Eldritch
not
Sight
good.
still active?
It is.
Is this a magical effect?
Yes.
Would you consider it a spell?
Not in this case.
Curses.
So to clarify, Axel no longer has the statue in his grasp, and the statue got bigger?
Yes, it is bigger. Axel never got to grab it. As he kind of got closer, it lunged forward and bit into him. So the serpent is moving properly, so you can all see it clearly, but no one.
I might have an idea, guys. Snakes don't usually like ferrets and things like that. It's actually their natural predator. So, crap. Let me just try it. And she'll hit herself with polymorph, and she's gonna turn herself into a ferret, and she's gonna try and chase the snake out of the temple towards.
That's a good idea.
For the guy.
So your spell works without issue, and as you attempt to pursue the serpent, can I have you make a dexterity saving throw with a ferret stats?
Does anyone know what the ferret stats?
No idea. I mean, are you a normal ferret or a giant ferret?
Dire ferret.
D&D Beyond. Let's see what we got. Do they got ferrets in here?
I know there's giant
weasel. Weasels are close.
Oh,
enough,
weasel. All right.
It has a
Weasel's
plus
good?
3. It has a +3. So
Okay, I'm gonna roll a D2. Oh yeah, no. D20 hates me and everything.
Your strategy seems to make sense if you are dealing with a regular serpent. Instead, you will see the serpent lunge forward and kind of bite into the center of this ferret, and immediately it begins to turn into jade. And the serpent is
Ooh.
now larger. Now it's about as kind of not quite man size, but it is getting there.
So when they see this, they're just like, okay, this creature is clearly moving and does not want to be touched. They're going to cast Speak with Animals to speak with the serpent and say, hey, listen, we are just here for a task. We would like for you to join us and come with us outside and meet up with the bear folk. Would you be able to do this for us? And if so, what would you like in return?
A couple of things. First, the statue does not seem to register the question. Second, you realize there is a plaque next to it, and as you finish asking the question, the serpent seems to turn back into jade.
At the same size?
No, it's original size.
Oh, okay. Can then what language is the plaque written in?
It's written it is written in a language you don't recognize, but as you attempt to read it, you seem to understand what it is saying. And the words or the meaning you pick up is to steal is to bring devastation, to request is to bring peace.
So Reagan was on the right track the whole stinking time. Okay.
Well, I was right. I literally asked for them to do it. So I was just like, wait a second. If he's just biting folks, then maybe we just ask him, like, hey, don't. They're dragons, you know. They understand when folks come in and try to take stuff from them. They're just like, oh no, you about to feel these hands. But if you get asked, like, hey, let me get some gold.
Yeah.
Like, oh, maybe we'll give you a couple.
Well, Aspen asked, so this is for Aspen to take.
So in that case, now that they have the request to see the request was given, Aspen is going to move forward and attempt to pick up the statue. And we'll say thank you. We appreciate it.
You are able to pick it up without issue.
How are the other party members doing? Is this like persistent petrification or has it stopped?
Oh yeah, they look at, especially our ferret friend.
Another Constitution saving.
Well, you have permanently turned to jade. Your party is 2 people less.
Which apparently for a ferret is a -1 on the modifier, so that's not really good.
Wait, that doesn't make
Nice.
Natural
Okay.
20.
Natural 20.
Can Layla expend one of her bardic inspiration for this saving throw for the tiny ferret?
You don't have to. You don't have to. How do you? Well, depends. Ree, how you feel about lay on hands, removing petrification?
Oh,
I
she got
think
19.
it would. I forget what.
I know it's poison
lesser.
and I know it's disease.
No, if it's just those two, then it won't work. No.
I don't know if it's petrification. I'm looking.
18. See, so this is the bad news. If oh wait, no, you rolled a 16. No, so now you failed. Because you're making it.
Who rolled a 16?
Dio.
Why is it 60?
Because you're rolling with a ferret stat, it's not Dio stat, so the number on the base is 16.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, the D8 from Layla, would that work?
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
just
D6.
poison and
D6.
disease.
It's a D6.
Oh, D6?
Oh, what did you? What is your number? It might help. Might help.
Do I roll that?
Oh, I think Dio did.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
17.
Makes it an 18. Oh, 17? Okay.
Yes, because a fur has a -1 modifier to Constitution.
Okay.
So 17 is just 1 too low. So as you see, the fur is still slowly turning into a jade statue.
All right, in that case, Aspen's going to try to hurry up and make their way over towards the bear. Hopefully that by having them present this item and get the petrification to stop.
Bearfolk is still standing there with his warhammer, and as you approach, it's hard to tell if he looks pleased or not, as he is a person who looks kind of very stoic, but he does kind of stand up proper as you approach.
This is for you. I like this lesson provided. Now I see why this place is more respected. Which more adventurers had this ideology.
It's very many people tend to fail around this part.
Mm.
I take it your pet was not quite as quick on the uptake.
Oof.
The
disrespect.
Unfortunately, my friend was trying to do a different technique, but yes, sadly, it did not take place. But if I give this to you, would the petrification stop?
You see him, he takes his warhammer and he flips it up in so you can see the hammer part is down, and he unscrews something on the edge of it where this kind of long spike had been, and he removes a small vial of this emerald liquid, and he kind of uncorks it and pours it over the ferret, who immediately the jade begins to kind of fall off, and then a moment later the polymorph spell is ended.
Oh my god, that hurts.
Aspen will offer their heads out to help them up to their feet. It was a good idea.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, wow. Turning to stone. Wow. Oh, I feel stiff. Okay. Ready now.
Right. Well, you have succeeded. I am required to ask you if you wish to stop here or continue on to the third test.
I'm still in, friends.
Mm-hmm. We're good. Let me right now, we're at silver. If we complete the next test, we should be gold. Is that correct?
That is correct. However, as a warning, the next portion of the exam, there will be no one to fix your ailments or problems.
It's just life, I suppose.
Thank you for that awareness.
Well,
this is gonna be fun.
Continue across the bridge behind me. I wish you the best of luck.
Aspen nods and make their way forward.
As does Reagan. Follow suit.
And as you all make your way across the bridge, that is where we are going to end our adventure for this evening. Two of the 3 tests have been concluded, and we'll see how things go next week. So we did go a little bit longer than normal, so I do apologize for that for everyone. But so we will just go ahead real quick and have everybody say who they are, and then we'll go ahead and end this for and see if we can rate anybody. So first up, the wonderful classical Glyza.
Hey, y'all. I sure did a lot in that test, but that's okay. Today I played Dewdrop, one half of the well-known religious institution called the Nameless Gods. My name is Glyza. I go by they, them. I'm a person of many hats. I am a podcast host. I'm a writer, a variety streamer, and also a talk show host of a show called Trial Run, where I interview different TTRPG personalities, creators, players, gamers, GMs, everything else in between. And I create a character with them and then run that same character that we created through a one-shot. Speaking of TTRPG personalities, I am one as well. This coming week, you can find me in a lot of channels. On Monday, I will be on Lights Roleplay, where I'll be playing Aurora, another caitiff on Neon Lights Roleplay on Kindred of the Fog City. On the 6th, I have nothing from Tuesday and Wednesday. How interesting. And then Thursday, I have Esper Genesis, where I'll be playing more the Space Ninja. So on Atomic Zero. And then, hey, starting Friday, I'm going to be part of a charity stream where I will be playing Armor Acer, which is a fantasy medieval world, but with robots. So watch that. And then on Saturdays, I will continue my own little charity stream where I date dragons as a human being. We almost boinked a dragon yesterday. So maybe we will boink one this coming Saturday. Other than that, you can find everything else that I'm doing just by following at Classical Glyza on Twitter, because I do make all of my announcements there, and all of my news and my shit posts are there too. Next, please. Thank you. Next.
Right. All right. Next up, Kira.
Hi, I'm Kira858. It was a wonderful time with this adventure. Of course, as stated, you can be able to find all of our content on Twitch at twitch.tv/Kira858, as well as our YouTube channel, The Cookout TTRPGs, where we have a wide variety of TTRPG goodness. From, I'm pretty sure still to this day, the only campaign dedicated to sextuplets, to Miss Lighted Shadow, which is our Diablo-based campaign. If you like Game of Thrones, before season 8, we have Reclamation that's still going on, which is a fantastic campaign. Has a lot of political thriller, other content in place. And of course, we have our brand new campaign starting this Wednesday, which as stated is the Marvel's new Avenger. Not new, a new Vanguard. My apologies. Again, it has a couple individuals here in the cast, as well as a couple others. And we have a lot of guests that will be shown in your future. So definitely keep an eye out that, especially if you're interested with the new Marvel playtest rule set, because we'll be using that. And yeah, just make sure if you want to keep up to date with all of our TTRPG related content, follow us on Twitter at thekira858, as well as the Cookout TTRPGs. And that's me.
All right. Wonderful. And next up, Sir Monolith.
Hi, I'm at Sir Monolith on Twitter. Not super active on there, but aside from this game, play on a Monday night game at 6 p.m. Pacific. I don't know if it'll be happening this Monday yet. We're still figuring out if people are busy on 4th of July, or if we just want to take the day off. Although we were out last week, so that's something to think about. Yeah, then the other game that I'm in is Bayou, that just started up again. So you guys come check that out. Starting 2 p.m. Pacific on Sundays, and that's about it.
All right. Next up, Ari.
Hi, I'm Ari. Of course, on here you see me as Layla. Monday nights, I am Sebastian over on Price of Power. Saturdays, or whenever it comes out on YouTube, I am over on Kira's channel in a couple of campaigns. I'm also on. Look here, we film on Sundays. That's my brain is on weekend time. And on Sundays, you can usually catch me over on the Bear Pen as Elijah, who finally got to do a murder. He is very proud of himself. You can follow me at Small Shadow Snack for all things marsupial, but mostly possums.
All right. Next up, Melee.
Hi there, or should I say bye there. It's Melee. You can find me on all the socials at whatever they are, /Melee Damage. And that is the best way to stay up to date with everything I do, because I am on a couple of long-term campaigns with a lot of the folks here. And then with everybody else here, I do lots of guest appearances with them and never quite know when that's going to happen until it happens. So just keep refreshing Twitter, just relentlessly. Just don't stop. Just keep hitting refresh on my page 1.5 billion times, and you'll know exactly what you need to live your life. So check that out, and definitely do check out the upcoming Marvel campaign that we have, because I'm very excited about that. Kira, am I allowed to tell people who I'm playing or no?
Oh, sure. You're definitely down.
You with the spoilers. You know what? You can do what you want.
Okay,
You can do what you want. I'm one individual in a sea of people.
I'm gonna keep it hush. I'm gonna just.
Okay.
I would request if May could send me a private message, because I'm curious.
Yes. I forgot about that. Ursa is anti-spoilers to the fullest.
I got experience it for myself.
Yep.
Right, well, in that case, last but certainly not least, Ursa.
What's good, y'all? I'm gonna make it quick because everybody tired. YouTube, Twitch, SoundCloud sometimes, at Earthringer. Y'all know where to find me. Also, the Cookout TTRPGs, where I'm in a couple games. But yeah, hit me up if you think you just as crazy and you love grits without sugar. Take us home.
All right, and with that, we will be bidding our campaign adieu for now, but please join us next week, and we will see exactly how the final stage of this exam goes, and whether or not our party has reached too far. Thank you for tuning in, and see you next time.